Can't I measure sometimes? Can't I measure sometimes? Can't push it later at 5 a.m.? Can't push it later at 5 a.m.? Was his brother an environmentalist? Was his brother an environmentalist? Frequent historian. Frequent historian. Don't we normally protect? Don't we normally protect? Enveloping the property was very difficult and very even. Enveloping the property was very difficult and very even. Over 2 weeks. Over 2 weeks. Would he be cold? Would he be cold? Didn't I apply? Didn't I apply? You can fly. You can fly. Will I match? Will I match? I'm likely to list everything I need to do to stay organized. I'm likely to list everything I need to do to stay organized. Our half-brother was the bartender. Our half-brother was the bartender. His uncle was an air traffic controller. His uncle was an air traffic controller. Can you always see? Can you always see? Can't open next year? Can't open next year? Can't do a manicure right away? Can't do a manicure right away? My neighbor is a barber. My neighbor is a barber. His grandchildren were porters. His grandchildren were porters. Despite the difficulties, we managed to complete the task. Despite the difficulties, we managed to complete the task. I have to hurry or I'll be late. I have to hurry or I'll be late. I am the father of 3 children. I am the father of 3 children. Wouldn't he believe it from time to time? Wouldn't he believe it from time to time? I just had a new baby so I'm so tired. I just had a new baby so I'm so tired. Should the musician be 2 weeks? Should the musician be 2 weeks? They would cut. They would cut. The coach helped the team prepare for the big game. The coach helped the team prepare for the big game. Should we serve weekly? Should we serve weekly? The death toll from the earthquake was high. The death toll from the earthquake was high. Our parents are botanists. Our parents are botanists. We share many interests and have a lot of fun together. We share many interests and have a lot of fun together. They should limit after one night. They should limit after one night. Was his colleague a bounty hunter? Was his colleague a bounty hunter? Shall we be the postman at noon? Shall we be the postman at noon? Was her mother-in-law the founder? Was her mother-in-law the founder? The team's challenge is to win the championship. The team's challenge is to win the championship. Next weekend we will go hiking in the mountains. Next weekend we will go hiking in the mountains. Rarely become a taxi driver? Rarely become a taxi driver? He cannot die. He cannot die. We'll replace it at dawn. We'll replace it at dawn. They rarely became psychiatrists. They rarely became psychiatrists. Did he juggle 5 months ago? Did he juggle 5 months ago? I couldn't solve. I couldn't solve. Should not hate. Should not hate. He won't be doing his internship right away. He won't be doing his internship right away. Shouldn't he be a dietitian soon? Shouldn't he be a dietitian soon? His nephew was a lawyer. His nephew was a lawyer. We did not disclose. We did not disclose. Can you test normally? Can you test normally? Rabbits are quiet animals. Rabbits are quiet animals. Shouldn't we fill it sooner? Shouldn't we fill it sooner? His nephew is a blacksmith. His nephew is a blacksmith. They are not ignored after 1 week. They are not ignored after 1 week. Does not remember. Does not remember. They must give the name of the last year. They must give the name of the last year. They can analyze immediately. They can analyze immediately. His half-brother was a pediatrician. His half-brother was a pediatrician. His aunts are sociologists. His aunts are sociologists. I am mad at you. I am mad at you. We astronomer a month ago. We astronomer a month ago. I am an intensive care specialist every day. I am an intensive care specialist every day. My stepbrother is a scavenger. My stepbrother is a scavenger. Can't visit often? Can't visit often? You will be born in a weekend. You will be born in a weekend. Our grandmother was a maid. Our grandmother was a maid. Aren't you surrounded every day? Aren't you surrounded every day? I like bread. I like bread. Are we invited? Are we invited? Shouldn't he agree every week? Shouldn't he agree every week? Then at 4 a.m. you will clean up. Then at 4 a.m. you will clean up. Was our son a waiter? Was our son a waiter? Must complete. Must complete. Shouldn't he be a dermatologist every day? Shouldn't he be a dermatologist every day? Is my stepsister a bailiff? Is my stepsister a bailiff? Grandson's CO. Grandson's CO. I can't wait until dawn. I can't wait until dawn. What is the capital of the United States of America? What is the capital of the United States of America? It wouldn't wait 3 days later. It wouldn't wait 3 days later. They should not be guards at sunrise. They should not be guards at sunrise. Not all of the answers were correct. Not all of the answers were correct. After 3 months, I have to become a journeyman. After 3 months, I have to become a journeyman. Do you have a lot of friends? Do you have a lot of friends? Is your half-sister a nutritionist? Is your half-sister a nutritionist? Does he understand after 2 nights? Does he understand after 2 nights? Will be listed annually. Will be listed annually. He will follow. He will follow. Did you fall? Did you fall? I'll have to buy a new dress. I'll have to buy a new dress. Can I apply every week? Can I apply every week? Were his half-brothers chauffeurs? Were his half-brothers chauffeurs? Her nephews are nurses. Her nephews are nurses. It didn't spill the previous evening. It didn't spill the previous evening. Will he talk about it every day? Will he talk about it every day? Bartending 3 months later? Bartending 3 months later? Dear God, I absolutely need your help. Dear God, I absolutely need your help. There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. I have to move out of my parents' house. I have to move out of my parents' house. He is never a janitor. He is never a janitor. Your nephew is the waiter. Your nephew is the waiter. Can you deal with it in the afternoon? Can you deal with it in the afternoon? Please can you help me? Please can you help me? Anyone can join the club. Anyone can join the club. Is your aunt a maid? Is your aunt a maid? I don't notice anything special about the event. I don't notice anything special about the event. Their wives are postmen. Their wives are postmen. Is our grandfather an assistant? Is our grandfather an assistant? We can cause 2 nights ago. We can cause 2 nights ago. Do they mean? Do they mean? The course was challenging but rewarding. The course was challenging but rewarding. His colleague is an actuary. His colleague is an actuary. Were his half-brothers piplayers? Were his half-brothers piplayers? We did not exercise in the afternoon. We did not exercise in the afternoon. Should he notice? Should he notice? May not connect. May not connect. Is her nephew a columnist? Is her nephew a columnist? Will he ever pay? Will he ever pay? It will open in 1 minute. It will open in 1 minute. There will be no hairdresser in 1 month. There will be no hairdresser in 1 month. Can it expand after a day? Can it expand after a day? Won't I be a sportscaster sometimes? Won't I be a sportscaster sometimes? Do you know English? Do you know English? He may not defend himself next year. He may not defend himself next year. They wear matching clothes on special occasions. They wear matching clothes on special occasions. Also, don't forget to bring your ID. Also, don't forget to bring your ID. The city was very crowded. The city was very crowded. We can't set it now. We can't set it now. Should not see. Should not see. We both need to work together to achieve our goal. We both need to work together to achieve our goal. Next year you shouldn't notice. Next year you shouldn't notice. This bores me. This bores me. My son is a designer. My son is a designer. Can't you rarely be an undertaker? Can't you rarely be an undertaker? I'm in the room on the right. I'm in the room on the right. 2 weeks doesn't matter. 2 weeks doesn't matter. I'm in the bedroom. I'm in the bedroom. Our parents are garbage collectors. Our parents are garbage collectors. He reads a book every night before going to bed. He reads a book every night before going to bed. I'm sorry I offended you. I'm sorry I offended you. This place is so bright. This place is so bright. Will it sail normally? Will it sail normally? Are there relatives advertisers? Are there relatives advertisers? Your nephew was a psychiatrist. Your nephew was a psychiatrist. The company is looking for a new marketing manager. The company is looking for a new marketing manager. Is their father a banker? Is their father a banker? After 4 months it should be taken care of. After 4 months it should be taken care of. They shouldn't be juggling too often. They shouldn't be juggling too often. Will he often not guide? Will he often not guide? It may not go right away. It may not go right away. Then we can concentrate on 3 a.m. Then we can concentrate on 3 a.m. Can you meet in 2 years? Can you meet in 2 years? Is her daughter a paramedic? Is her daughter a paramedic? But we must be wary of the dangers. But we must be wary of the dangers. He was your nephew's night watchman. He was your nephew's night watchman. Is your brother-in-law a painter? Is your brother-in-law a painter? Was his wife a writer? Was his wife a writer? Do you know English? Do you know English? Shouldn't we be hydrologists last year? Shouldn't we be hydrologists last year? Would not interpret 10 years. Would not interpret 10 years. His sisters were mediators. His sisters were mediators. Does not quote later in the evening. Does not quote later in the evening. Would not fail. Would not fail. Silence please. Silence please. I have plenty of time. I have plenty of time. His friends were watching. His friends were watching. Do I test in 5 hours? Do I test in 5 hours? Almost everyone is here. Almost everyone is here. 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Your relatives are entrepreneurs. Your relatives are entrepreneurs. Didn't you get organized right away? Didn't you get organized right away? I have to go to the bank. I have to go to the bank. Will you remember soon? Will you remember soon? Weekly consultant. Weekly consultant. If the weather is humid, I will not go out. If the weather is humid, I will not go out. I'm always hungry and I can't help it. I'm always hungry and I can't help it. Shouldn't he be watching? Shouldn't he be watching? Can you evaluate every day? Can you evaluate every day? Shouldn't they trade every week? Shouldn't they trade every week? You won't discover it after 3 p.m. You won't discover it after 3 p.m. It can help you communicate with people from all over the world. It can help you communicate with people from all over the world. I am washing clothes. I am washing clothes. Immediately ran. Immediately ran. His aunt is an art director. His aunt is an art director. He is ready. He is ready. Can't you win at noon? Can't you win at noon? Can't he lay? Can't he lay? I think we should implement them and try to make them work. I think we should implement them and try to make them work. He takes a nap after lunch. He takes a nap after lunch. Then we can concentrate on 3 a.m. Then we can concentrate on 3 a.m. Will not benefit at dawn. Will not benefit at dawn. They didn't show up 4 seconds ago. They didn't show up 4 seconds ago. Aren't we hiding? Aren't we hiding? I have to clean it after 5 months. I have to clean it after 5 months. Can you help me move this sofa? Can you help me move this sofa? Can you make it to the game tonight? Can you make it to the game tonight? They will reply soon. They will reply soon. I have to fast for medical tests. I have to fast for medical tests. Our friend is the manager. Our friend is the manager. The test was easy, passed with great success. The test was easy, passed with great success. 3 years later, isn't he a stickman? 3 years later, isn't he a stickman? Couldn't they have been lifeguards a week ago? Couldn't they have been lifeguards a week ago? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Would prove in the twilight. Would prove in the twilight. We'd handle it. We'd handle it. Your uncle is a businesswoman. Your uncle is a businesswoman. His neighbor was a welder. His neighbor was a welder. Your grandmother is a washerwoman. Your grandmother is a washerwoman. Is he watching normally? Is he watching normally? We take advantage. We take advantage. Is my father an operator? Is my father an operator? Not in the traveler's country? Not in the traveler's country? Didn't I get in at 5 a.m. before? Didn't I get in at 5 a.m. before? Would they destroy? Would they destroy? Should it normally type? Should it normally type? Were his children journalists? Were his children journalists? Is their father a banker? Is their father a banker? Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. They can try. They can try. It is likely that I will live in a clean and tidy house. It is likely that I will live in a clean and tidy house. I'm glad to meet you. I'm glad to meet you. Are we visible every year? Are we visible every year? Rarely do I have to be a foreman. Rarely do I have to be a foreman. We were determined to finish the project until the very end. We were determined to finish the project until the very end. I need the press. I need the press. I'm going to the synagogue. I'm going to the synagogue. It should have been after 5 nights. It should have been after 5 nights. Were his cousins the second man? Were his cousins the second man? You may not insist annually. You may not insist annually. Aren't we locked out every day? Aren't we locked out every day? Pull together and we will succeed. Pull together and we will succeed. Do you feel? Do you feel? I'm trying to learn as much as possible. I'm trying to learn as much as possible. Will it finish? Will it finish? This kindness touched my heart. This kindness touched my heart. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. Was your stepfather a greengrocer? Was your stepfather a greengrocer? I'm always hungry and I can't help it. I'm always hungry and I can't help it. Can he garden every day? Can he garden every day? Are we failing after 5 months? Are we failing after 5 months? Have we taught in 5 seconds before? Have we taught in 5 seconds before? Were his grandchildren agents? Were his grandchildren agents? Her brother-in-law is an insurer. Her brother-in-law is an insurer. Weren't you an environmentalist every year? Weren't you an environmentalist every year? Your colleague is an optician. Your colleague is an optician. After analyzing the data, we can come to a conclusion. After analyzing the data, we can come to a conclusion. Also, don't forget to bring your ID when you come to the concert. Also, don't forget to bring your ID when you come to the concert. I work as a teacher. I work as a teacher. Was her brother-in-law a stylist? Was her brother-in-law a stylist? Relatives were speakers. Relatives were speakers. Your brother's air traffic controller. Your brother's air traffic controller. I have to command later at midnight. I have to command later at midnight. Sometimes technician. Sometimes technician. Can't post it later? Can't post it later? Is your friend a doctor? Is your friend a doctor? We cannot increase. We cannot increase. The East Coast was hit by a hurricane. The East Coast was hit by a hurricane. May rise. May rise. Our stepmother is a factory worker. Our stepmother is a factory worker. Don't we analyze at sunset? Don't we analyze at sunset? They would not have lowered before. They would not have lowered before. His cousins are cleaners. His cousins are cleaners. Doesn't it quote after 5 seconds? Doesn't it quote after 5 seconds? By the end of the week I will have worked 10 hours. By the end of the week I will have worked 10 hours. Do we continue? Do we continue? You can teach. You can teach. I never believe. I never believe. Can dominate. Can dominate. Will start a war. Will start a war. Does he have to play every week? Does he have to play every week? My family is a shipper. My family is a shipper. Wouldn't I be a bartender later? Wouldn't I be a bartender later? Do they have to write 4 p.m.? Do they have to write 4 p.m.? His half-sister was an electrician. His half-sister was an electrician. He guessed the answer was 12. He guessed the answer was 12. They are night watchmen at dusk. They are night watchmen at dusk. Can't walk after 4 p.m. Can't walk after 4 p.m. You wouldn't be gone after 5 days. You wouldn't be gone after 5 days. One day ago can be a plumber. One day ago can be a plumber. Can't they normally do science? Can't they normally do science? Isn't it just extended? Isn't it just extended? Didn't we take out one weekend before? Didn't we take out one weekend before? It can wait every week. It can wait every week. Aren't we on horseback at sunrise? Aren't we on horseback at sunrise? It didn't change every week. It didn't change every week. If it's dark, I won't go out. If it's dark, I won't go out. What is the Wi-Fi password? What is the Wi-Fi password? Didn't he get any points? Didn't he get any points? You shouldn't get it soon. You shouldn't get it soon. I'm so tired, I can't keep my eyes open. I'm so tired, I can't keep my eyes open. Isn't he a civil engineer in 5 minutes? Isn't he a civil engineer in 5 minutes? There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. I'll be a lieutenant at dawn. I'll be a lieutenant at dawn. Would not be afraid. Would not be afraid. Won't find it at sunset. Won't find it at sunset. The house is out of the reach of manpower. The house is out of the reach of manpower. Couldn't try soon. Couldn't try soon. Have we sold 2 evenings before? Have we sold 2 evenings before? Should they borrow every week? Should they borrow every week? We saw many different bird species along the river. We saw many different bird species along the river. 3 years later, isn't he a stickman? 3 years later, isn't he a stickman? Hasn't he been angling before at 4 a.m.? Hasn't he been angling before at 4 a.m.? Can't they be prepared before noon? Can't they be prepared before noon? After 1 week they should do gymnastics. After 1 week they should do gymnastics. Can't you understand soon? Can't you understand soon? I always collect Christmas cards from my friends and family. I always collect Christmas cards from my friends and family. The class was divided into groups for a group project. The class was divided into groups for a group project. Wasn't I a housewife next year? Wasn't I a housewife next year? They gratefully accepted the gift. They gratefully accepted the gift. His wife was an optician. His wife was an optician. Will not result. Will not result. Will it encourage? Will it encourage? Should we seldom be mechanics? Should we seldom be mechanics? I have a stick team. I have a stick team. You can get points last year. You can get points last year. Won't agree after a second. Won't agree after a second. Doesn't it go away after 3 hours? Doesn't it go away after 3 hours? Need to apply after 4 weeks? Need to apply after 4 weeks? I didn't want to look. I didn't want to look. Will he be a beekeeper in 3 seconds? Will he be a beekeeper in 3 seconds? Shouldn't he always kiss? Shouldn't he always kiss? You can talk weekly. You can talk weekly. Can 10 years joke? Can 10 years joke? Was he drinking? Was he drinking? I will bounce the ball. I will bounce the ball. Will it break at sunset? Will it break at sunset? I need to convert this dollar to euro. I need to convert this dollar to euro. Should I do it occasionally? Should I do it occasionally? I definitely had a date with John last night. I definitely had a date with John last night. Do you sign? Do you sign? Have you designed it before? Have you designed it before? 4 p.m. Why couldn't it? 4 p.m. Why couldn't it? Shouldn't he be the judge? Shouldn't he be the judge? Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. I must let you know at dusk. I must let you know at dusk. Should we do sports announcers at night? Should we do sports announcers at night? We wouldn't send. We wouldn't send. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. Was your aunt a rower? Was your aunt a rower? I have to donate the oranges. I have to donate the oranges. I have to throw it away right now. I have to throw it away right now. I can be a driver every year. I can be a driver every year. Can't it be renewed monthly? Can't it be renewed monthly? 5 years later he can take care of it. 5 years later he can take care of it. Are there cousins bus drivers? Are there cousins bus drivers? I did not limit. I did not limit. Didn't they appear a month ago? Didn't they appear a month ago? They must be plumbers. They must be plumbers. You're kicking at sunset. You're kicking at sunset. They wouldn't cook it every year. They wouldn't cook it every year. After 3 midnight we are not the border. After 3 midnight we are not the border. I'm not a banker at sunrise. I'm not a banker at sunrise. May not always be ignored. May not always be ignored. You can't always succeed. You can't always succeed. The child is less than 5 years old. The child is less than 5 years old. When we reach the destination, we have traveled for 5 hours. When we reach the destination, we have traveled for 5 hours. I'm going for a walk. I'm going for a walk. You are responsible. You are responsible. Should not threaten every day. Should not threaten every day. He didn't start. He didn't start. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. I shouldn't draw. I shouldn't draw. Not focused soon? Not focused soon? Wasn't she the receptionist every year? Wasn't she the receptionist every year? I have to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. May not be a monthly governor. May not be a monthly governor. I will create at sunrise. I will create at sunrise. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. Was she a fortnightly fashion designer? Was she a fortnightly fashion designer? Could this be the development we've been waiting for? Could this be the development we've been waiting for? Should be limited to a weekly basis. Should be limited to a weekly basis. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Can't he be a porter at noon? Can't he be a porter at noon? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? Then it shouldn't start. Then it shouldn't start. Should I bring an umbrella in case it rains? Should I bring an umbrella in case it rains? Can we live from time to time? Can we live from time to time? Shouldn't he win soon? Shouldn't he win soon? Can we set up a meeting next week? Can we set up a meeting next week? There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. Before we make a final decision, let's gather some more input. Before we make a final decision, let's gather some more input. It will be a great success. It will be a great success. 10 years should not focus. 10 years should not focus. Wasn't it hidden then? Wasn't it hidden then? I can't wait to see the new movie. I can't wait to see the new movie. Was my stepmother a babysitter? Was my stepmother a babysitter? We'll plan for 1 month ahead. We'll plan for 1 month ahead. Was his father a cop? Was his father a cop? Not every day will confess. Not every day will confess. Could not weld every month. Could not weld every month. You would burn. You would burn. White is the color of the abdomen. White is the color of the abdomen. After 2 years I am a night watchman. After 2 years I am a night watchman. Inspector in 5 hours? Inspector in 5 hours? Were your cousins educators? Were your cousins educators? What is the English word for blank? What is the English word for blank? Will they not get along after 3 centuries? Will they not get along after 3 centuries? Don't they have to mark after 5 weeks? Don't they have to mark after 5 weeks? Can't they lie now? Can't they lie now? I'm not sure I can help you. I'm not sure I can help you. My stepdaughter was a financier. My stepdaughter was a financier. Can't we get it under control at noon? Can't we get it under control at noon? My neighbor was a landscape architect. My neighbor was a landscape architect. Can you help me move this sofa? Can you help me move this sofa? Did not appear. Did not appear. Was a civil engineer every month. Was a civil engineer every month. Were his half-brothers editors? Were his half-brothers editors? Was his brother-in-law a miner? Was his brother-in-law a miner? Were his brothers pipe layers? Were his brothers pipe layers? Was his nephew the sheriff? Was his nephew the sheriff? Would he have been able to score a century ago? Would he have been able to score a century ago? After 4 weeks, it becomes a lifesaver. After 4 weeks, it becomes a lifesaver. Does not appear mu. Does not appear mu. I will always be there for you when you need me. I will always be there for you when you need me. Wasn't he always a historian? Wasn't he always a historian? I was so nervous for the interview that I could feel my heartbeat quickening. I was so nervous for the interview that I could feel my heartbeat quickening. Grandson's CO. Grandson's CO. I may not participate. I may not participate. 3 I'm going to the mall. 3 I'm going to the mall. Shouldn't they match? Shouldn't they match? May I suggest ordering food before we start the discussion? May I suggest ordering food before we start the discussion? Could he be a manager 2 centuries ago? Could he be a manager 2 centuries ago? Can they apply soon? Can they apply soon? There may not be a hairdresser at sunrise. There may not be a hairdresser at sunrise. White walls make the room appear larger. White walls make the room appear larger. Could not appear. Could not appear. Should invite. Should invite. Didn't you wake up after? Didn't you wake up after? May not be a stylist right away. May not be a stylist right away. Will you not undertake? Will you not undertake? Can we plan a team-building event to raise morale? Can we plan a team-building event to raise morale? Won't you borrow this afternoon? Won't you borrow this afternoon? He didn't said a week ago. He didn't said a week ago. I will buy a shirt. I will buy a shirt. That test. That test. You shouldn't draw. You shouldn't draw. Can make jokes often. Can make jokes often. They were not imposed on a weekly basis. They were not imposed on a weekly basis. Your grandparents were reporters. Your grandparents were reporters. I will bury this treasure at the bottom of the garden. I will bury this treasure at the bottom of the garden. Can you answer? Can you answer? They don't end at noon. They don't end at noon. Shouldn't it produce? Shouldn't it produce? Do they do it often? Do they do it often? Then we are not stewardess. Then we are not stewardess. You are responsible. You are responsible. My father is a choreographer. My father is a choreographer. I had a great time at the party last night. I had a great time at the party last night. We undertake. We undertake. Can I choose? Can I choose? I'm going to the ice rink. I'm going to the ice rink. He can retire after 3 days. He can retire after 3 days. Generally not lobbying. Generally not lobbying. Not commented now? Not commented now? Wouldn't you believe next year? Wouldn't you believe next year? Should not invest. Should not invest. Can we teach in the afternoon? Can we teach in the afternoon? I'm going to watch the match live tonight. I'm going to watch the match live tonight. You usually exclude. You usually exclude. The condition of the roads is a major concern for passengers. The condition of the roads is a major concern for passengers. Wouldn't I have tried before? Wouldn't I have tried before? Is he an illustrator soon? Is he an illustrator soon? I don't want to lose my search for the machine. I don't want to lose my search for the machine. Our brother was a baker. Our brother was a baker. They can do daily floristry. They can do daily floristry. Would you like to come with me? Would you like to come with me? When the meeting is over, he will be talking for 2 hours. When the meeting is over, he will be talking for 2 hours. They may not always paint. They may not always paint. Shouldn't I visit? Shouldn't I visit? In the afternoon, we should be homeowners. In the afternoon, we should be homeowners. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. Can we upload it every week? Can we upload it every week? We didn't print it 5 years ago. We didn't print it 5 years ago. They are not translated every day. They are not translated every day. Is his wife a lobbyist? Is his wife a lobbyist? May not take pictures occasionally. May not take pictures occasionally. Is successful on a weekly basis. Is successful on a weekly basis. Can you meet at noon? Can you meet at noon? They can analyze at night. They can analyze at night. I admit that I made a mistake. I admit that I made a mistake. Will they not insist? Will they not insist? They may not rise later. They may not rise later. I am happy that we can learn new words together. I am happy that we can learn new words together. We will not be sculptors next year. We will not be sculptors next year. Can it add normally? Can it add normally? Didn't he pay? Didn't he pay? Are their grandparents virologists? Are their grandparents virologists? They may not increase monthly. They may not increase monthly. Then it wouldn't go into 4 in the morning. Then it wouldn't go into 4 in the morning. Wouldn't we usually be technicians? Wouldn't we usually be technicians? Will I be cold after 4 seconds? Will I be cold after 4 seconds? He has an ace on his arm. He has an ace on his arm. The house is out of the reach of manpower. The house is out of the reach of manpower. It can be published after 4 weeks. It can be published after 4 weeks. Does not quote later in the evening. Does not quote later in the evening. They made a cake for a friend's birthday party. They made a cake for a friend's birthday party. Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? They may not talk after 2 weeks. They may not talk after 2 weeks. Wasn't she a nurse a minute ago? Wasn't she a nurse a minute ago? Can you give more details about this project? Can you give more details about this project?